Hello Muslim friends in the world. In a small village nestled in the mountains of Andalusia, Spain, lived a priest named Padre Ignacio. He was known by all the villagers as a devout, humble, and compassionate figure. From a young age, Padre Ignacio had shown a deep love for God and humanity. Growing up in a poor farming community, his passion for serving others never waned. After becoming a priest, he was assigned to Santa Clara Parish, an old church surrounded by olive groves. Padre Ignacio patiently restored the church bit by bit, not just with his hands but also with his heart. Every Sunday, the once empty church began to fill with congregants. Their presence was not due to the beauty of the building but the sincerity of the priest. Padre Ignacio was known for his unique habit. He always rose before dawn to pray at the altar. In the stillness of the morning, he knelt, seeking strength and guidance from God to help his people. Villagers often said that his prayers were so powerful that even rain would fall during the dry season at his request. Beyond his church duties, Padre Ignacio was a selfless philanthropist. He often rode his old bicycle around the village, carrying food, clothing, and medicine for those in need. He didn't just provide material aid but also offered wise counsel that uplifted the heart. Many people said that speaking with him felt like being in the presence of God. After years of serving at Santa Clara Parish, Padre Ignacio discovered an old history book in the church library. The book was titled La Luz de Al-Andalus, The Light of Al-Andalus, recounting the golden age of Islamic civilization in Spain during the Andalusian Caliphate. Padre Ignacio initially read it out of curiosity to learn more about the history of his region. However, without realizing it, the book marked the beginning of a spiritual journey that would transform his life. Each night, after completing his church duties, Padre Ignacio would sit at his desk, reading stories about the cities of Córdoba, Granada, and Seville, which were once centers of knowledge, art, and justice. He was captivated by the accounts of how Muslims, Christians, and Jews coexisted under fair laws. He was also deeply impressed by the Muslim dedication to scholarship, worship, and morality. What touched his heart the most, however, were the Quranic verses quoted in the book. One that was often mentioned read, "There is no compulsion in religion. Truly, the right way has become clear from error." Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 256. Padre Ignacio felt a serenity he had never experienced before. He began searching for more books about Islam. He read translations of the Quran, Hadith, and writings by renowned Muslim scholars such as Ibn Sina and Al-Ghazali. The more he read, the more he felt that Islam offered the peace and truth he had been seeking. He found the concept of Tawhid, the belief in the oneness of God, both simple and profound. He also began to understand that Prophet Muhammad was not only a bearer of religion but a source of guidance filled with mercy for all creation. However, his spiritual journey was not without challenges. Doubts arose in his heart. He wondered, what if I am wrong? What about my responsibilities as a priest? He spent days in prayer, seeking guidance from God. One night, Padre Ignacio had a dream. In his dream, he found himself walking through a barren desert. He was thirsty, exhausted, and on the verge of giving up. Suddenly, in the distance, he saw an oasis with clear water. As he approached the oasis, he heard a gentle voice saying, "This water is the truth. Drink, and you will find peace." When he awoke, his heart was filled with conviction. he decided to meet a Muslim scholar living in a nearby town. For weeks, he learned from the scholar, asking all the questions that had been troubling him. Finally, on a calm morning, under the scholar's guidance, Padre Ignacio recited the shahadah. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. From that day forward, Padre Ignacio began a new life as a Muslim. He left his role as a priest but remained known for his wisdom and compassion. He adopted the name Abdullah, meaning servant of Allah. The story of Abdullah, formerly Padre Ignacio, spread throughout the village. Initially, many were confused and even angry. However, with his humility and kindness, he managed to explain his decision without imposing his beliefs on others. Gradually, many began to understand his choice, and some even became curious to learn more about Islam. Abdullah spent the rest of his life teaching about tawhid, justice, and compassion, values he had learned from Islam. He became a bridge between the Muslim and non-Muslim communities in his village, promoting harmony reminiscent of the coexistence in Andalusia's golden age. Over time, news of the conversion to Islam of the former priest Abdullah, formerly Padre Ignacio, spread throughout Spain. His courage to seek the truth and openly proclaim it inspired many people, both Muslims and non-Muslims, to delve deeper into Islam. Abdullah became a symbol of hope for unity and the revival of Islam in a land that was once the center of world civilization. Abdullah did not stop at merely professing his faith. He dedicated his life to rebuilding an understanding of Islam in Spain. With the historical knowledge and Islamic teachings he had learned, he began teaching Islam in a compassionate, peaceful, and intellectual manner. He often held interfaith dialogues, inviting religious leaders from other faiths to discuss monotheism, moral values, and the history of Islamic glory in Andalusia. In his village, he established a small educational center named Dar al-Hikmah, inspired by the Islamic scholarly tradition of the past. This center became a place to study the Quran, Arabic, history, philosophy, and general sciences. Initially, only a handful of people attended, but over time, young people from various parts of Spain began to arrive. Abdullah also encouraged Muslims scattered across Spain to rise from their marginalization. For years, Muslims in Spain had lived as a socially and politically oppressed minority. Through his gentle approach and inspiring efforts, Abdullah united them with a renewed spirit to build a strong community that positively contributed to the country. He reminded Muslims of the glorious past of Andalusia, where cities like Córdoba were centers of knowledge, art, and global peace. He taught that to regain such glory, Muslims must return to the Quran and Hadith while emphasizing the importance of education, hard work, and noble character. Abdullah's message began to resonate among Spanish intellectuals and politicians. Many were drawn to the concepts of Islamic justice, fair governance, and religious tolerance that had once been implemented in Andalusia. Some universities even began offering programs on the history of Islam in Spain, introducing young generations to their rich heritage. Within a few decades, the influence of Islam began to reappear in various aspects of life. This influence extended beyond education to include fields such as art, architecture, and law. Major cities like Madrid, Seville, and Granada began reviving Islamic traditions by building mosques, cultural centers, and libraries that housed classical works from Andalusia's golden age.